suppose the law is one thing that they might traditionally get into, but it wouldn't be certainly wouldn't be the only thing. Of the people who graduated with me in 2004, I know as John says, my friend Daniel went on to be a journalist. There are people who have ended up in the civil service, there are solicitors, there are barristers, there are people who work in social media, in advertising, media planning. There are people who work for the United Nations. There's a guy out in Afghanistan now, in Kabul, who's doing some great work with the United Nations Human Rights Commission over there. There's people who work in banking, who've gone into investment banks, JP Morgan, that kind of thing. There's a girl who runs her own restaurant in the south of France. I mean, it really is it's a wide variety of things you can do. And the key is that the skills, the key skill is essentially the ability to think, and to think clearly and analytically. And that's a skill that the discipline of history tries to instill in people, I think. And it's a skill that essentially is transferable, as I say, across the field in any form of employment. It's something that employers will always value. From the overall, from the larger Ukrainian population. And indeed, if we look at what World War I did to Ireland, where we had a situation, as I'm sure many of you will know, we were part of the United Kingdom, and in 1914 we had what was called Home Rule on the books, but the war started.
Thank you, Nathan.
To be back, but also very, very kind of strange, especially getting up at 8 AM. That is something you forget about very, very quickly. But anyway, right, history, yeah, that's what we're talking about. So hopefully I can convince you guys that, you know, it is cool, you know, it's a cool thing to do, you know, and you should do it. But I suppose I'll start with saying why I do history. I guess why I like history is playing Age of Empires at the start, you know, The Patriot, and to a lesser extent Lord of the Rings would have kind of sparked my interest, you know, from a young age. But I suppose I did it in college because it was always my favourite subject in school. And I guess, I don't know about you guys, but when I was leaving school I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And it's probably not the best reason, but I guess I needed to kind of, you know, go to college, get a degree, and hopefully figure it out on the way. And I thought, you know, history is something I love doing. You know, when you hear from, you know, teachers, I'm sure, and to what time you're in. So, I mean, even 1916, right? I mean, we think of that now. Oh, it's great. You know, they created Ireland. We love 1916. But you know, that changes. I mean, at the time in question, when it actually happened, it wasn't actually supported by the majority of the people. So, and I guess it's like and then you can imagine in 20 years it could be revised again, you know, or like, I mean, I study French history and I won't go into detail, but over the past 100 years, it's like every 30 years, some new guys come up and said, no, you're wrong. This is how it is, you know. And someone goes, no, the last guy was wrong. He's totally wrong. This is actually this. These boys are great, you know. And they come back and say, no, the first guy was right. These boys are actually terrible. So it's changing all the time. So if you actually study the studying of history, it kind of gives you crazy perspectives because you think that all of the subjects are boring compared to it. and even look the school trip, you know, you get to go to Berlin. That was so much fun. Totally forgot about it until right now. And you know, I think it's a very living thing. And I would say don't be naive and think that history counts for nothing. Because even on a practical level, a history degree is as good as pretty much any liberal arts degree. Kind of in this day and age, I mean, you know, if you want to get a degree straight or a job straight from college, you know, become a doctor. But if you want to do something that you know you love and gives you a lot of scope to do almost anything. I mean, you know, Deloitte, they'll accept internships from someone with a business degree to someone with an English degree to someone with a history degree. So like, you know, and Google, they'll accept anyone with a third level degree. So in terms of getting a job, I kind of just say no. You're just wrong if you don't think you get a job in history. And I guess if you do love it, definitely keep going. and it's not naff, it is cool. And yes, I think that's all I have to say.
You guys want to switch? Oh no! And then you can look at the cemetery as well. And then the all service on the cemetery. Quality Parker.
Yo, you're recording everything.
Zero, my man. Hello.
Oh, sorry, guys. Look, you see what it was. You'd be asking why it wasn't.